How's it going, class? My name is Federico Gaitan, and I'm going to be presenting to you guys my critical assignment. The name of my critical assignment is Gait Development Through the Lifespan. I'm going to show you guys 3 examples of early childhood gait patterns, childhood gait patterns, and adulthood gait patterns. I wasn't able to bring my grandma over for the older adulthood gait patterns, but I'm going to show you guys the 3 first examples of developmental motor skills. Go ahead. I have my 2-year-old son, Freddy, who's going to show you guys an early childhood example of walking. There he goes. Good job, Freddy. And next I'm going to show you guys my 10-year-old son, Jeremy, and his motor skills. It's Jeremy. He's 10 years old. He's my childhood example. And now I have my wife, who is 27 years old. She's going to be my adulthood gait pattern example. Okay. So guys, I'm going to continue with my presentation, gait development through the lifespan. First, I'm going to speak about major changes in gait across each of the 4 stages of development. So beginning with early childhood, locomotion has already begun. Once a child becomes a toddler, they are able to begin walking. Toddlers, like the example of the child in the video that we were provided with for this presentation, he had a very wide stance during his walk. This gave him a stronger base of support, and he also took short strides while he was walking. This happens when a child is getting used to their new walking abilities. They also walk with their arms in a high guard position, or if not, they walk with their arms outward. I wouldn't say like a penguin, but I guess you can say you can picture a penguin walking. Moving on to the childhood stage, children typically develop a standard walking pattern at around age 4. A child's stride length is longer than that of a toddler's. Instead of a child walking with flat feet, some children, like the child in the video that was provided with us or for us, the child was walking on her tippy toes. It's called toe walking, and her base of support has developed to trunk width, and this gives a child good balance during their gait. The child seems to have tighter hip extensions, which gives her a shorter range of motion. And at this age, a child usually has developed an arm swing that one arm opposes the other arm while walking. And now on to the adulthood stage. According to our textbook, not many general population changes happen during this stage of life unless motor skills are affected by maybe an injury, a weight gain, or possibly have developed some sort of abnormality. So this goes more on a individual, more of an individual perspective rather than a general population perspective like that of early childhood development and childhood and older adults. Um, so adults, their stride length can be almost that, like half of their height. Um, Adults have more flexibility in their hip extensions, giving them a longer range of motion. And an adult tends to have a straight toe pattern rather than an outward toe pattern like some toddlers do when they're learning how to walk. And this just develops among adults in their adolescent stage. And older adulthood stage. During the video that was provided for us, the older woman had a short stride length, I'm pretty sure due to constraints that she has developed over her lifetime. And older adults seem to have an outward toe base of support. They also have a reduced pelvic rotation. And the older woman in the video, to me, seemed very flat-footed while she was walking. She didn't really seem to bend her arches too much. And older adults also tend to have less joint flexibility in their gait patterns. So some theories and principles that I went on to learn about in our book. One of them was the maturational perspective, and this indicates that motor development is caused by genetics, that it's basically hereditary. I also learned about the normative descriptive principle, which is, this was made out by Lawrence Rarick, and he described motor development in children through physical exams, which is interesting. Biomechanical descriptive principle by Ruth Glasso. She made biomechanical descriptions of motor skills through exercises as well. The other theory and principle is called information processing. This is where our brains absorb information, and then we tend to act out those things that information that we learn. Another is ecological perspective, and this assesses motor skills of a person who is acted on by environment and gait patterns. And this theory was adopted by our textbook authors. I'm also going to identify some common gait abnormalities in each stage of development. And in early childhood, abnormality could be the toe walking, and this could indicate neuromuscular disorders, and it could also be linked to cerebral palsy in some children. In the childhood stage, circumduction gait is an abnormality due to excessive hip abduction, and this is also common among children who have cerebral palsy. Common gait abnormality in adults is Achilles tendinitis. This is common among a lot of older athletes, and this happens over a lifetime of rigorous physical activity. This can also cause a lot of pain during walking. And a common gait abnormality in older adults is caused by arthritis. Arthritis can be very painful. Can develop arthritis throughout the different parts of your body, not just your feet or legs. And this is normally a big a big abnormality among older adults. So moving on to some possible constraints, both physical and perceptual, at each stage of development. Starting off with early childhood, a physical constraint can be children who are born with flat feet. This can make it difficult for them to walk properly. A perceptual constraint could be their vision. Children at an early stage of life cannot perceive sizes and shapes of objects properly yet. Moving on to childhood stage. Childhood stage physical constraint could be a short hip extension, causing them to have short strides in their gait patterns. A perceptual constraint could be children who have hearing disabilities. I grew up with a lot of kids who had hearing disabilities, and this could be very difficult for them to learn properly in regular public classrooms. Adults at the adulthood stage, physical constraint could be caused by an injury, forcing their body to adapt differently to their gait patterns, to normal gait patterns. A perceptual constraint can also be caused by an injury or an accident. I have a lot of family members who work in the contracting field, and they tend to have hearing loss because of all the machineries that they're around throughout their work days. It's over the years it's caused them to have some hearing loss, and that could be a perceptual constraint for adults my age. And older adults, this stage of life, physical constraint could be osteoporosis. Osteoporosis can be very painful for older adults, and this could really change their normal gait patterns. And a perceptual constraint is having good vision. I used to work with an ophthalmologist who told me that at around age 40 or 45, this is when older adults tend to start having vision problems, and this is the beginning stages of getting them prepped and ready for cataract surgeries. So I thank you guys for your guys' time. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope you guys learned maybe a thing or two from it. I also added my references to my PowerPoint presentation. You guys can take a look at that if you guys need to. But I just would like to thank you guys for your time, and I wish you guys the best of luck on our last week of school. Thank you.